Based on a new report, we have a new #1 most expensive area to live in Canada. And spoiler alert, it's not Toronto or Vancouver. This is a pretty good example where the article is not lying. In fact, the numbers that they are reporting are technically true, but they don't fully understand what they're reporting. The Home Network, out of all places, actually put out this article, and they ranked the 10 most expensive cities to live in Canada. And I think the #1 ranking is super misleading, and I'll tell you why. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom Storey. I run a very active real estate team here in the city of Toronto. If you learn anything new in this video, all I ask is make sure to give us a like and get subscribed to the channel. You can also book a call with myself or my team in the first link in the description. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the article. Okay, so this article is called The 10 Most Expensive Places to Live in Canada, and the homenetwork.ca actually put this article out. Now, this came out at the beginning of February, but I'm just seeing it now. Now, basically, what it's reporting on is the numbers from CREA, the Canadian Real Estate Association. Now, these would have been end of 2024 numbers, so just keep that in mind. And let's go through the 10 most expensive markets in Canada, because the #1 actually surprised me. So the #1 most expensive market to live in Canada is Markham, Ontario, with an average sale price of $1,262,533. And like I said at the beginning of this video, that surprised me. I'm going to tell you why that is super misleading for 4 reasons that they're not explaining in this article. If we go to #2, Oakville, Ontario, beautiful area, lovely homes. Oakville is always ranked as one of the most expensive markets to live in Canada. #3 and 4 are the least surprising on this list. You got Metro Vancouver, BC, with an average sale price just under $1.2 million. As we continue to move down here, of course, City of Toronto, #4. There's actually reports earlier, I guess late in 2024, that projected that the City of Toronto was going to become the most expensive market in Canada in 2025. Well, it's now #4. Apparently, and I'll get back to this in a second. #5, we got Victoria, BC. Beautiful Victoria with an average sale price of $869,000. #6 is Hamilton, Ontario, the Hammer. Tons of growth in Hamilton over the last 10 years, with an average sale price just under $800,000. Kelowna, BC. Average sale price actually lower than I would have expected for the Okanagan. So $651,000 average price for Kelowna, BC. #8, Ottawa, our nation's capital, was $645,000. Obviously a government town, so their real estate market, typically, other than the craziness we just went through for the last 5 years, Ottawa has been pretty steady, like 2-3% growth every single year, because usually employment is pretty stable there. Then you got Calgary coming in at #9. So Calgary's seen massive price growth over the last 5 years, but still the 9th most expensive city in Canada. And #10, Montreal. I think Montreal, if it wasn't for, the language and everything like that, I think the actual city is undervalued. I think it makes sense why people don't move there if they can't speak the language or they don't feel like they would fit in. I feel like if they were more accepting to English, and I'm going way off topic here, I think the Montreal market is undervalued based on everything it offers, even though I despise their hockey team. Now, Markham is a great area to live. We have clients that live in Markham. I have family that lives in Markham. So I'm not here to say anything bad about Markham. But what I am here to say is that this report is very, very misleading, and I'll tell you a few reasons why, as someone that is kind of a bit of a nerd with numbers. The first thing we have to think about is when we're looking at average sale price, which, by the way, they used average sale price, not median and not benchmark price, just average sale price. So if there was an outlier, it would be included in that average sale price. They don't talk about the fact that there's less sales that happen in markets like Markham versus markets like Toronto or Vancouver. There's just less homes and less sales actually transact every single month. And when there are less sales, there's 2 things that can happen. If there was a few really low sale prices, that could impact the average price. But on the flip side, if there was a few high sale prices in zones where, like, of course, interest rates matter on every level of the property market. But when you get into the luxury stuff, maybe people are less impacted by it because they already have so much cash. If a few of those properties sold in the $5+ million, even $3+ million range, that could really impact the average sale price for the month or the 3-month average or the quarter that they are looking at. The second thing we have to consider is when you're looking at these 10 most expensive markets, you have to ask yourself, what type of homes are actually selling every single month? And in places like Markham and Oakville, which are #1 and 2 on this list, there's significantly less condos selling versus markets like Toronto and Vancouver. Of course, they have a condo market in these areas, but there's a whole lot less compared to these other two cities. So if 50% of the sales of the city of Toronto is made up by condos and they are smaller than homes and naturally sell for lower prices than homes, that actually brings down our average sale price. What this report should have probably broken down is for all these different areas, ranking it based on the property type that is actually selling. So if it's the average condo price, Vancouver's probably top of this list, followed by Toronto. If it's the average detached home price, it's probably still Vancouver. Maybe Oakville would come in second and Toronto would come in third. And that takes me to point number 3. When you're looking at lists like this, you have to ask yourself, what type of home is selling? And I'm not talking about condos or detached, but like, what's the lot size? How many square feet is it? Like if you took the average home that sold in Markham, I bet it's like a 50-foot wide lot by 100, if not larger than that, maybe even 60 by 120, versus the average property that sells in Toronto, or even the average freehold home in Toronto, it's probably like a 22 to 25-foot lot by 100. So it's a much bigger home. So although the average sale price is higher, even though it's average, we've already talked about that, it's like, yes, but you're getting double the amount of homes. So the actual value you're getting as a purchaser, you can make the argument, is much better in a market that on this list might be ranked a little bit higher. My final thought is, imagine we took the same house. So let's make this house together. It is a 30-foot wide lot by 100 deep. It is a detached property. It has 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, finished basement. It's got a backyard. You've got 2 front pad parking or maybe a garage at the back, whatever. This is the house that we were building in our minds. If I took that house and I placed that exact house in all these different markets and comparable neighborhoods in these different cities, which one would be the most expensive? And I still think Vancouver's the answer. Then followed by Toronto, then followed by Oakville, because even though the average sale price is higher in some of these different areas, you're just getting way more house. I recognize this video as me being a bit of a party pooper, but these lists are fun. They're great. They're probably really good for sites like this. The fact I'm even making a video on it will get some additional exposure. Not that they need my help because it's the Home Network. They probably have tons of people that are looking at their stuff, but just something to keep in mind. Every report that comes out, every little bit of data, you have to dig deeper. You have to fundamentally understand what it could actually mean for you. If you like this video, you might also like somewhere over here my other video that I recently made about the truth about Toronto housing prices. My name's Tom Storey, and remember, home is where your story begins.